Alrighty, today we will be doing Group 3's problem in Ansys, which, if I change my recording windows here, should show you that this is our prompt. And if you just pull that up alongside as a reference, you can see kind of what we're doing. Alright, so first we're going to go into static structural. We're going to make one of those. Per our prompt, we won't have to... Let's see if it actually generates. There we go. So per our prompt, we don't have to change any of the materials. So we're just going to keep our engineering data the same. We're going to go ahead and go into geometry. Now, this is a little bit more difficult to model in Design Modeler, but that's the one that I chose because that's the one I'm most familiar with. So I'm going to open this up real quick. You guys will still see that window until I do this. Alright, so now that we're in Design Modeler, what I did is I went through and I started off on the YZ plane. Little strange, not what we typically do, but that's what I did. So then I go ahead and hit this sketch view option that kind of lines it up this way. And then we're going to change our units to millimeter. We're going to go over to sketching, settings, make sure that grid's turned on. I just have 10 and 5 as a default. But now we're going to go to the line tool, and from the origin here, which sometimes it doesn't like to actually snap to. There we go. Just bring this line up here, and on this one we're going to go ahead and sketch up a certain distance and then over a certain distance. So now from here we're going to go to dimensions, dimension this one, this point to the origin, and then we're going to go over here, we're going to hit angle, connect these two, hit right click and click alternate angle, and then we're going to select that. So now this section is all dimensioned. So what we're going to do is we're going to update these with the correct numbers. So we're at an angle of 120 degrees. Our length of this section should also be 120. Our distance here from the base point to the bottom, or the origin, should be 38. And our total length here should be 150. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and click generate. And you should see this is kind of what we have now. So from here, we're going to go back to the XY plane, actually. So we're going to click back here, click XY plane. It's going to be a little weird at first. Click this align to plane button there, and now we're going to start sketching out. This is how I did it. There are probably easier ways to do it, but when I tried using the revolve function, Design Modeler kept crashing. So this is the way that I did it. So in this new XY plane, we're going to click create a new sketch. Go over here now, and we're going to select circle. This first one, we're just going to connect over, and we're going to do the same thing here like this. Alright, so now we can go in, and we're going to go ahead and dimension these. Alright, so D1 is our inner diameter, which here, per the prompt, is 50 on the longer side that we're looking at. So if you look on the prompt in the bottom right picture, it's the small little 50 right below the 70 for the vertical cut through. So this ID here is going to be 50, and this OD is going to be 70. And that's basically our tube thickness down the extrusion. So I'm going to click generate, extrude, and apply here. We're going to type this in, and this will be 150. I'm going to click generate. Boom. Now we have our first tube. So since this whole length is 150, what we're going to do now is I'm going to sketch a new plane. So I'm going to click File, Create, New Plane. I'm going to do the type is from plane, the base plane is the XY, and then we're going to transform here. We're going to do offset in the global Z direction. Make this 75. Actually, nope, never mind. Let's make that 150, my bad. Alright, so now we're going to click generate. So now we have an extra plane there. So I'm just going to do the two end pieces first. I did have to do them separately because when I tried to mirror them, it was not too happy with it. So from here, we're going to go ahead and click New Sketch. Go over to the Sketch section, push this button up here to align to the plane. Then we're going to come through and align this. It does not like to snap to that. But here, so on the top, if we're looking at figure 2 in the top right corner, we have an OD of 120, which is what we're going to dimension this to. Pretty close. Then we're going to draw one more circle from the same center point. And then we're going to connect that up right on this edge here, so it should be coincident with that other circle. Then we're going to click Generate. We're going to go back to Modeling, and we're going to go ahead and click Extrude here. So here, we're going to go through, we want this geometry, we want to add material, the direction vector. We're going to click and change this, if it lets us. Maybe, okay, nope, those ones aren't showing. Ah, that's right, sorry, my bad. We have to go back to the YZ plane sketch, right click on sketch 1, and click Always Show Sketch. Now, when we go back to our extrude feature, and we go back to edit this, our direction vector that we select is this middle path here. We're going to go ahead and click this arrow as well, just so we can flip directions. Since we already have this a total length of 150, we don't want to add on top of it and make it like 160 if we do, or 162 if we would add the other 12 millimeters. So now, this is only going to go down 12 millimeters. And you can see it's still on the wrong side for what we want. So, looks like this wasn't applied. There we go. And now if we hit generate, boom, we have one side of the end tube done. Alright, so now we're going to go through, and I'm going to do the same thing, but with this other end. So we can actually click on the face tool up here, select this face, and go ahead and click New Sketch. Oh, no, I guess we can't. Alright, well, we can delete this sketch then. We can just do it from this plane that we have on the XY plane. So here, I guess we have to click Generate again. Now we can add a new sketch on this plane. And from here, we're going to grab a circle again. Let's align this, and we should just be able to put that the same distance there. Yep. And we can click this one to our edge profile here. Now if we click Generate again, go over to Modeling, press Extrude. It's still trying to extrude on the wrong side, so we want that geometry, change the direction vector to this way. We don't have to change anything else there. And now if we hit Generate, we have both sides of this first part of the pipe. From here, we're going to go ahead and click up here to select a face, click out of this, and now we're going to click New Sketch. So from here, we're going to align to the sketch plane, and now we're going to sketch our circles, or well, holes that we cut out. So first, we've got our center point, which we need to make this a radius, or sorry, a diameter of 100 millimeters. Oh, would you look at that? Perfect. And now we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to click circle, and we have 4 of these every 90 degrees. So we're going to have to zoom in here on this point here. Move this around a little bit. When it snaps like this, it's snapping on the point of the circle, so you're good. These don't really matter what size they are. We're going to go in and constrain them in a second. So now we can go to constraints, hit, actually we've got a dimension 1 first. Let's make this 10 millimeters. Now we're going to go into constraints, hit equal radius, and select the other 3 of these. Perfect. Alright, so now we have to go in, modify, hit trim, and we're going to trim all these sections of circle. Alright, perfect. Now we're going to click generate, we're going to click extrude, and now we can see that it's extruding in the wrong direction, so we want that geometry. We're going to change our direction vector to here, and we're going to extrude down the 12 millimeters. If we really want, I think we can go all the way through and try and save a step later. Yeah, let's try that. So now we're going to go down the full 150. Generate, nope. Cut material, regenerate. Okay. So now we have this kind of tangent path that we need to take, or not tangent, but you know, some angle that we're coming in at. And typically CAD platforms don't like this angle. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come in and we're going to extrude another section kind of similar to how we did before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, create new plane, and we're going to take, so we're going to take from plane, then we're going to go, we want to pull from XY, and then to transform it, we're going to move the, we're going to offset by global Z, and now we're going to drop down by minus 38 millimeters. Oops, I guess it's regular 38. Alright, so now we've got another plane at this point here. Alright, so now kind of what we want to do is we want to rotate this. So now, transform 2, we're going to want to rotate this, whoops, rotate, and we're going to want to do this about the x-axis. And so now we're going to be rotating it about this axis. And we need to take this to, let's see, our angle here is this, when we look at it this way, it's 120 from here. So that means that we are 30 over, so 180 minus 30, so we're going to go 150. So we're going to rotate this 150 degrees. And you can see kind of the direction that this is mostly facing is down that way. Oops, hang on. Is it 120? Oh no, it is 120. Can't count. Oh well. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to transform this again, and we're going to offset by our Z, and now we're going to go 120 millimeters. Nope, negative 120. There we go. Alright, so negative 120 millimeters there, and then we're going to click generate. Now this plane that we have, if I zoom out, should be able to see it is perpendicular to this path here. And then we can go ahead and hit this button. And now this is going to give us the, well actually because our direction is this way, it's giving it to us through the model that we have so far. So we can actually go back here and let's see, we're going to change the axis, and we're going to reverse the normal z-axis. Then we're going to click generate again. Now if I click this plane view, it's going to give us a top-down kind of looking along this profile, which is exactly what we want. So from here, we're going to click on this plane, click new sketch, and now we're going to go over to sketching, circle, and we're going to snap onto the center point here. So now we have our outside diameter, so our hole size that we want basically. We're just going to extrude this to here, click this, and do another one roughly this way. Now we're going to dimension these. This first one is going to be the hole size, the whole way down the pipe. So this one here is going to be 36 millimeters, as that's our ID of the main part of the section. There is a little bit of a beveled edge, but we're going to get to that in a second. And this other one here, because we want to make the thickness of the tube, which is going to be 60 millimeters. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and click generate, extrude these, and we're going to do these, we want this geometry, direction vector, we want this, but we want to change it to the opposite, and we're going to make this 120 millimeters because that's our distance. Now we wanted to add the material, that's okay, and we're going to click generate. So now you can see two things. We have some intersections that we need to get rid of. The easiest way to do this is to take your XY plane from here. Then we're going to click new sketch, click right here, and now we're going to click circle, and since you had that outside circle selected, we can just click from here to here, and now we can hit extrude on this circle. We want this geometry. We do not want to add material. I want to cut material. We're going to do this all the way through. And we can go ahead and hit generate, and we've cleared that one section out. So now we can do the same thing for this. So we can go back to our plane. We can create a new sketch. And then we're going to go here, click circle, and do the same thing with our inside region again. Generate, extrude, and then we want this geometry, change our direction vector, and we're going to do this for 120 millimeters. We don't want to go through the other sidewall, so this will get rid of all of that we need to deal with. You click generate, oops, cut material. When you click generate, it clears that hole, and you have the nice opening that you're looking for. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sketch this kind of triangle piece on the side here. The angle in the reference drawing isn't quite easily shown, so it's just going to be flat across the top like in picture 1 of the problem statement. So what we're going to do here is click plane again, and then we're going to click new sketch, go over to sketching. So now we have an 80 millimeter circle as our main piece. So we can click into the, let's realign this, click into the center here, over here, and then we're going to dimension this first. I'm going to hit this to 80 millimeters. Then we're going to draw one more circle, which is going to give us from our center just a little bit in more, and you'll see why we're going to do that in 1 second here. Alright, so this we're going to click here, go back to dimensions, sorry, and then we're going to dimension this one, so that'll be D4, and this is going to be our kind of stepped ledge, so to speak. It's just going to serve as an outline. We're not actually going to extrude it there right now, but this is 40 millimeters, so we're going to go ahead and enter that in. And then, let's see, D3, we've got this as 80, so we are all set there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this out after we make our little circles. So now we're going to start with circle number 1. We want this to align onto our reference circle here. Okay, so there's 1, and we do have 3 of these that are 120 degrees apart, so we're just going to kind of roughly do this right now. And now we're going to start to dimension this one. We want this to be 10 millimeters. Now we're going to go through, constrain these others to be equal radius. We're going to click here, select the rest of these 2 circles that we have. We're good there. And now we're going to space these 3 120 degrees apart. So let's go to dimensions, angle, and we have to change our selection options. I don't know why it's not letting us select points. Okay, well, instead of doing that right now then, let's do this. So we're going to go into draw. We're going to select circle again, and from the center point of these circles, make sure you can see here it didn't actually snap onto the center point, so we don't want that. Let's hit escape, go back, and now we're going to click on this center point. Damn, did it again. Interesting. Okay, well, we will fix that in a second then. We're going to click this out here, and this dimension is going to be, so this is our diameter. The project statement, or problem statement, calls out a radius of 20, so we're going to need 40. And the other thing, okay, it looks like it was just a little bit of a visual glitch there. So now we can go ahead and do that again. But this time, we can just kind of click our 3 circles out and then set them equal to each other with a constraint. Now we're just going to get rid of that and do line by 2 tangents. Okay, so now that we have those, now we can try the constraint tangent. Okay, so now having that created for each one, now we can go back and trim these out. I wish there was a quicker way to do this. But it is a little bit easier now without those internal lines. Okay, looks like we only have a few more to get rid of. Let's see, is that a line? Yep. And, alright, I think that's... Oh, is that one? Nope. Okay. So I think we can click generate, and now if we click extrude, we make this. Let's go with 12. Hit generate. There we go. Now we have our full geometry. This is that 40 millimeter step down region for 8. Or actually, sorry, that's for 12. Okay, so I realized my mistake. I went back and looking here at the direction vector that I had selected, I had it going the wrong direction. So that's why it was kind of freaking out for a little bit there. But now if I click generate, that looks a little bit better because now we're in line with the plane and we can actually go back and edit this. So now, alright, so I went back and I looked at some stuff because I realized I made a mistake. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click here on plane 6, sketch 12. We're going to see this circle here, but we're not actually going to click this one. We're going to click up, make a new sketch. It gives us some random number because I've been messing around for a little bit. And now we're going to use these circles that we have here as references. So from the center, if we want this, that'll be our inside. Now we're going to click generate, extrude. We want this geometry that it's selected, just not in that direction. We don't want it to add material, so we're going to have it cut material. And we're going to go direction, direction vector right here. We're going to switch that around and have it go for 120. Then we're going to click generate. Boom, now we have our hole there. And now what we're going to do is go back up here to plane 6, create a new sketch. So let's go try it again. Yeah, I'm just going to not click on that circle and see if that just works. This hole here is going to be 40 millimeters. Generate. Oops. Interesting. Let's edit this and see. That's why. So sketch 15 looks like has another circle actually applied in it. So we're in sketch 15. Modify, trim. Let's get this other inner circle out. Generate. And we're going to make this 8 millimeters. And of course that gets rid of our other one, because why wouldn't it? Okay, well, let's go through and select this face. Then we're going to want to make sure that we're in plane 6. Make a new sketch. And we're going to go through and add this to our inner circle. Generate, extrude. 120. The opposite direction. Apply and remove material. Generate. There we go. Now we finally have our geometry. Don't know how long that's taken, but oh, quite some time. Okay. Well, Now, what we're going to do is we're going to save this. So, let me save this real quick. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to switch back to our workbench window. And now we're going to open up our model in Ansys Mechanical. Give that 1 second to open up. Alright, so Ansys Mechanical opened up, so now we're going to go ahead and click on Mesh, Generate Mesh. Give this a second to create it. Boom, there we go. Now we're going to start applying our boundary conditions. Right-click Insert. We're going to add our force up top. We want this to be a component, and in the negative z direction per our prompt, negative 2,000 newtons. And our geometry selection, apply. There you go, now it should be on that face. Let's see, so it is a surface effect. Yep, that's what we want. Then we're going to go through, we're going to insert a remote displacement top here. Or actually, no, let's not do that. Insert our fixed support right on the bottom here. And now we can go in and add our displacements, since we don't have to worry about any rotation. We're going to click here and here to select these two faces, apply it to those, and then we're going to go in the X direction. Those are locked. The Y direction, they are also locked, and they are free in the Z direction. For our solutions, we're going to insert, apply total deformation, insert equivalent von Mises stress, max equivalent stress, and I think that's it for what we can do. The prompt isn't super precise on what it's asking for. Yeah, let's go with that. And now we're going to click Solve. And there we go. And now let's see how we did. So it looks like it's going to get pretty compressed. Those are actually in meters, so let's switch our unit here to millimeters. Oh, there we go. Nothing. So this pipe can handle the load very well.